welcome. You're watching 6 at 6 with me, Akanksha Khajuria. And this evening, our top focus is on the escalating Iran-Israel conflict. First up, the United States has officially entered the war, striking deep inside Iran. We'll tell you exactly how that unfolded. Then my colleague Ratnadeep joins us with the on-ground details from Israel. Up next, we'll map out the key Iranian nuclear sites that were hit in the strikes. We'll also break down how B-2 bombers were used to carry out these precision strike on Iran today. Plus, what the world leaders, including Donald Trump and Netanyahu, are saying about this. And finally, what are Iran's options? We list them out one by one. Let's get started. Well, 2 weeks, that's the time Donald Trump said that he needed to decide on Iran, but in just 2 days, the decision was made and the missiles were launched at Iran. The United States has now officially entered the Iran-Israel war, striking key Iranian nuclear facilities in Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. Speaking from the White House, Donald Trump declared that the sites were totally destroyed and warned that the United States could target even more locations unless Iran steps back. Let me now pull up the map to show you exactly where these strikes took place in Iran. In fact, this is on the map. You can see that this is the area where the strikes, in fact, took place. This is Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan. And this is as far as the nuclear, very important nuclear sites there is concerned. In the last few days, Israel has targeted these three locations. But with the United States coming in, now they are saying that these nuclear sites have been completely destroyed. In fact, Donald Trump says that these strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally destroyed, is what he said. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity. Now, at a time when the world watches in fear and fury, Republic TV is not watching from afar. We are reporting from the ground zero right in Israel, Tel Aviv. And right now, I'm joined by my colleague Ratnadeep, who has been getting us several reports from the ground and who is there on the ground as well, getting us a lot of details. He'll be joining us in just some time. But as we were telling you, today is day 10th of the conflict. And now United States has officially entered this conflict between Iran and Israel. Both the nations are at war, and with the United States now coming in, 3 nuclear facilities have been destroyed. We told you about those nuclear facilities, Fordo, Natanz and Isfahan, very key uranium enrichment facilities, and the focus, in fact, is in Fordo. Well, as we've been telling you, there have been, in fact, footages which are coming from Israel as well after these 3 nuclear facilities were destroyed. You can see there on the screen that Iran has also launched the attack on Israel. There on the screen are the visuals of central Israel, which has been hit. This is the residential area. Buildings there completely destroyed. Now, everyone is saying it remains to be seen how and when does Iran attack the US assets. When and where that will happen is something that remains to be seen. I'm currently joined by my colleague Ratnadeep. As we told you, he's been getting us minute-to-minute details from the ground there. Ratnadeep, thank you for speaking to us. Since morning, after these nuclear sites were attacked, now Iran has also been attacking Israel. There has been, in fact, footages coming in of residential buildings there attacked as well. Give us what the situation on the ground is.
So we know that there were at least 25 missiles that were launched in the attack into salvos. One missile has hit a residential area of North Tel Aviv, where we have been reporting from the morning. We get information that there have been 13 people who have been lightly wounded, and 6 others have wounded in homes in Sidonia. One man was moderately hurt by shrapnel in Route 431 highway near Be'er Yaakov in central Israel as well. Apart from that, there was a slight mishappening in which we saw the Home Front Command suspect that an Israeli air defense interceptor malfunctioned and crashed in Haifa amid Israel's ballistic missile attack, which was the reason for that. Sirens didn't go off in Haifa, in the northern city, but there was interceptor which fell, but fortunately there was no injuries in that one as of now. But in the last 4 or 5 hours, we have not seen any silence, and it's quite now at the point of time when I'm speaking.
Well, absolutely. Sirens blared off in the morning is what we're learning. Before I let you go, another question from you, because Donald Trump has warned Iran that they must not retaliate, but we have seen retaliation coming in from Iran. Tell us what the IDF there and the political party leaders there are saying as far as this conflict is concerned.
So, as far as the strikes that the US conducted this morning, every party has come unequivocally in support of the strikes. In fact, a while back, the ministers were updated that the Air Force, even while we were speaking, has completed around 1,000 strike sorties throughout Iran, involving hundreds of aircraft, and more than 200 surface-to-surface missile launchers have been taken out of service in Iran as we speak. So the ministers are just been updated about this information, and most of the opposition leaders are taken into confidence for this entire operation, and especially most of them have come in support of the United Nations strike this morning.
Absolutely, Ratandeep. Keep tracking those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Now, aim of the United States is to destroy country's nuclear program. Iran and the United Nations nuclear watchdog said that there were no immediate signs of radioactive contamination at these three locations following the strikes. Let's now map out location by location the three nuclear sites, starting with Fordo. I request my team to show those visuals right here as far as that nuclear facility is concerned. Let's start with this. Let me show you the satellite map of this nuclear site. As you can see, this, as we've been told, is the checkpoint to go into this highly secretive nuclear facilities. These are the two entrances that you can see. These are the two entrances to this highly secretive place, and that is the support building, the only outward structure that you would see as far as this nuclear facility is concerned. In fact, let us give you more details as far as the nuclear facilities are concerned. The next one is Natanz nuclear site. We've been speaking about this in the last 10 days. Not the first time that this nuclear site has been attacked. In the last few days, Israel has attacked it several times. This is very important because this is the largest uranium enrichment site in Iran, operates 70 cascades of centrifuges, has complex machines that purifies uranium, and that is what has irked Israel as well as the United States, which has led to this attack. Now let's move on to the third nuclear site, and this is the Isfahan nuclear site, another very important nuclear site. US has struck this nuclear site. This is the third attack on the key nuclear facility. In fact, yesterday we also told you, yesterday it was attacked by Israel. On 13th of June, it was the first attack on this very important nuclear facilities. This is one of the key facilities as far as Iran is concerned. Let me go across to Brigadier Sanjay Khana, a defense expert who joins us live on the broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. In the last 10 days, we've been saying attack and counter-attack coming in from Iran and Israel. With US now coming in, tell us what has changed in the last 2 days, because Donald Trump, day before yesterday, said that he will be taking 2 weeks' time. Now, in 2 days, we are seeing this massive attack on Iran. 3 nuclear facilities has changed. What, according to you, changed in the last 2 days?
Thank you, first of all, for having me on Republic. It's an honor and a privilege. Well, as regards your question about what has changed within the last 2 days, I would say that lots has changed in the last 12 days. You see that once Trump and the Iranians were into nuclear talks, that was 2 months, a little more than 2 months back. Trump had given the Iranians good about 60 days to think and come onto the negotiating table. Unfortunately, Iran did not do so for whatever reasons they may have had. So on the 61st day, Israelis were told to attack Iran, and they were told by the Americans. There's no doubt about that, because without the American support, Israel would not have got into this war in the manner that they have done. Now, since the day that they went into the war, the Israelis have been always targeting mostly the nuclear installations, the radar bases, the launchers, whatever military infrastructure that Iran has had, that's what they had been doing. But Iran, in turn, in addition to the military targets in Israel, they also targeted the civilian population and the infrastructure. Now, that was not taken lightly by the Israelis. So they retaliated in a much escalated level, and they started, in addition to targeting the military bases and military equipment, in addition to the nuclear sites, they also started targeting the headquarters of the Iranian foreign ministry, the defense ministry. And as you are aware, before all this had started, the scientists, the top scientists who were working in these nuclear sites had been taken out. They had been killed, and they had been killed by precision drone strikes. And so were the military leaders, the top-notch military leaders of the Iranian army. The thought process was that by taking out the top Iranian military leaders, maybe some pause could have been gained. And as it is the without a headless army or armed forces, where the top generals are missing, it becomes a little difficult to build up on that. So that was the basic thing. Second was that by taking out these top 9, 10 scientists, who, as I said, that they've been working the nuclear sites, by eliminating them, this was again a ploy to push back the Iranian nuclear enrichment for military purposes. So this had been going on. And now, as you see that in last 2 days, things have changed, because again, President Trump had given 15 days time. And somehow I had a feeling that this is just, a kind of a, they were playing with the minds of the Iranians. And for sure, within 2 days, they have gone ahead and they did what they did yesterday at night. And the 3 of the main Iranian enrichment uranium plants and facilities were targeted. You're well aware that it was Fordo, which is considered a fortress, and Natanz and Isfahan. Now, Fordo was very, very critical from the point of view of the Americans as well as the Israelis. But there is something which is very surprising. See, the entire history of the nuclear establishment or the nuclear site in Fordo is there out in the open domain. You open up anywhere and you get the news as to what it is all about. So the Americans and the Israelis were absolutely aware that this is a heavily fortified place where it goes down till 300 feet under the surface of the earth, and lots of concrete and other things have been placed there. So it is kind of impregnable. Despite knowing all this, I fail to understand why has the United States of America delayed what they did. Once they knew that what is expected and there. So in the beginning itself, they should have gone ahead. They had already given Iran 60 days to work and come back, which they didn't. So in the beginning of the war, that is what I feel, that the Americans, rather than getting in now, should have got in then. And so much of destruction that has taken place on the infrastructure, loss of lives, it's been absolute chaos, if you see, for the last 11 days, 12 days, that there has been no let up in the shelling through missiles, through drones. There's been no let up even for a limited period. There's been no pause between the two countries. It is, you see a set of missiles being fired by the Iranians towards the Israelis, and the Israelis retaliate with drones, with missiles, or their Air Force. Now, Air Force has gained absolute superiority in the initial phases of this conflict over the Iranian airspace. That was because the Iranian Air Force hardly exists. They have 1970 vintage aircraft, which are actually redundant in today's environment of the high-tech fighter aircraft that are available. So now, when America decided to go in with the airstrikes through the B-2 bombers, the airspace over the Iranian airspace was absolutely clear. Though when these B-2 bombers were flying towards Iran, the American fighter aircrafts were flying ahead of them and sanitizing the area. They carried out suppressive fire so that the Iranians missile batteries and all are made to dig in, but not retaliate. So that is how they were able to reach where they did. Now, as regards dropping of the GBU-57 bunker bursting bombs. Yes.
Should I take?
Yes, the American president has confirmed. There are videos showing that strikes have gone in at that particular place. Though America is saying that the absolute success has been achieved in terms of the president of America, his words. But I feel that we need to wait for a good about 48 to 72 hours.
Absolutely.
To assess the amount of damage that has taken place. Because from far off, you feel that your weapon systems have gone in, but how much inside they have gone in, what damage they have done, that is not very clear. And that will only emerge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also with Donald Trump warning Iran that it must not retaliate, it remains to be seen how, when and whether Iran retaliates as far as US assets are concerned. Thank you so much, Brigadier Khana, for speaking to Republic TV. Now, Donald Trump has confirmed that B-2 bombers were used in strikes. The bombers deployed the GBU-57 massive penetrators, commonly known as the bunker busters. The bomb carries a conventional warhead and is believed to be able to penetrate about 200 feet or 61 meters below the surface before exploding. And multiple bombs can be dropped in succession, effectively drilling deeper with each strike. And that's what actually happened at the Fordo nuclear site, as we told you. Here's more. Well, 2 days, that's all it took for warning to turn into action. And today, the world is staring at the consequences. The United States has targeted Iran's most sensitive nuclear facilities. President Donald Trump called it a spectacular success, claiming that sites were totally damaged. And from Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister has backed the move, calling it a historic stand against the terror regime. Trump has issued a clear warning to Tehran. Now make peace or watch what comes next. Netanyahu has also echoed this and said that peace will follow a strength, not the weakness. And while the bombs have fallen and the diplomacy has hanged by a thread, let's have a look at what the leaders are saying across the world.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Congratulations, President Trump. Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed. It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace.
The Islamic Republic of Iran condemns in the strongest terms the United States' brutal military aggression against Iran's peaceful nuclear facilities. It is an outrageous, grave, and unprecedented violation of the fundamental principles of the Charter of the United Nations and international law. The warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression. The US military attack on the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state carried out with genocidal Israeli regime, carried out in collusion with the genocidal Israeli regime, has once again revealed the extent of the United States' hostility towards the peace-seeking people of Iran, who will never compromise over their independence and sovereignty.
And as Israel's bombing campaign against Iran intensified, Iran has emphasized that it reserves all options to defend itself. And with this, all eyes are on when and how Iran will retaliate on the US assets. Here's more.
I see 2 options. Regime change, which was always the intention of Israel and the United States. We didn't want the mullah regime. 40 years, they've troubled the world enough. We all know that, so I don't need to go into details. That was the first issue. Second is, some people are saying there's going to be what happened in Iraq and Syria and Libya. There's going to be total chaos. So be it. How does that bother me? Iran is sitting 1,500 kilometers, 2,000 kilometers away from Israel. If there's trouble, so be it. Out of that, something is going to happen. The Iranian people will learn a lesson that you cannot behave like this in a region where you are not involved. You're not even part of that region. Happy birthday. What is this angst against Israel? I do not think Iran is going to escalate, quote unquote. Escalate what? Hit the Middle East monarchies? They will not dare. Hit Israel? They will not dare. President Donald Trump has made it very clear. I've seen some of these Indian mullahs strutting around and referring to that Nasrallah characters, Ayatollah Nasrallah and this, that and the other. All their pook, all their hawa should have gone out by now. Nothing is going to happen. If you guys are interested, go to Iran and fight against Israel from there. Making all these heavy statements sitting in the sanctity of your mosques or wherever you live in the nation, in India, it doesn't matter. My own assessment, having served in that area for well over 20 years and seen it close up, Iran is now going to do something very small, symbolic, just to show that we have the capacity to retaliate. But I do not think, sir, that they have the capability left to launch a major operation, particularly after President Trump's warning that you try acting funny, and then what we have done so far will be a picnic compared to what we are capable of doing. And he has shown that he's capable of doing it. Israel is America's, if I may use the word, chowkidar in the Middle East, has brought stability, has brought peace, has controlled that area. Without Israel, the Arabs would be clobbering each other, cutting off each other's throats. So I believe that Israel's presence there is a stabilizing factor. Iran tried to destabilize the region. I hope they have learned a lesson, sir.
And this is all we could pack for you in the bulletin of 6 stories at 6. We'll be back tomorrow with more such stories. Till then, keep watching Republic TV.